If you're just joining us, we've got what could only be called a head-scratching and still developing story. Was it broken by the LA Times, Lucas? Okay, broken by the LA Times. Bill Shaken first on it. Jeff Passan's all over it now, ESPN. And it's with regard to, and I will try to do this in the least confusing way, but it has to do with Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter and gambling. And so the story that's out is that Shohei and his attorneys are accusing the interpreter of massive theft. Theft of almost $5 million from Shohei's account to cover gambling debts. The wonky part of this is that for a full day with ESPN, the interpreter was dispatched to go speak directly to ESPN about this story, which means that ESPN knew about this 3 days ago. He was dispatched to ESPN to explain this $4.5 million payment from Shohei's account to a gambler or to an illegal gambling service. He was asked to explain it. His explanation was basically, I messed up and my guy Shohei's covering for me and it's my bad and he shouldn't have done that. Now, we've learned our lesson. And 24 hours later, disavowed, the interpreter is fired by the Dodgers, and now Ohtani and his attorneys say, no, we didn't cover your gambling debt. You stole the money. How he went about stealing the money with a direct wire transfer would be my first question if I were at a press conference today. But anyway, if this leads down the road, here's why it's a big deal. We were just sitting here and we're looking at the direct, actual Major League Baseball rules surrounding gambling. Players can gamble on other sports. However, they may not do it with any illegal bookmakers. They cannot gamble on baseball. If Shohei Ohtani is found to have direct gambling transactions with an illegal bookmaker, it is a punishment that is at the discretion of the commissioner of baseball. If he bet on baseball, gone. That precedent's been set pretty well by now. His name's Pete Rose. So,
by all accounts, I'm reading he doesn't bet. Shohei Ohtani doesn't bet.
That we know.
But if you're going to be a skeptic like I am, you read between the lines. His interpreter, Mizuhara, is that how you say it?
Mizuhara, yes.
Mizuhara started gambling. The debts got bigger. He started to chase, and the more he chased, the more he lost.
He was chasing wins, like Steve Kerr.
Chasing wins. But the Rule 21D in the Major League Rule Book says any player, umpire, or club, or league official, or employee, maybe a guy that does some fill-in radio games, who shall bet any sum whatsoever upon any baseball game in connection with which the bettor has no duty to perform shall be declared ineligible for 1 year. So any sum, if you're betting on baseball.
Yeah.
I doubt that they come on.
I mean.
But then if you're a bettor and you're chasing, and I'm chasing a big debt, what do I know about most? What do I talk about most? Who am I around the most? If I'm an interpreter, I'm Ohtani's shadow with the Angels.
Yep.
I'm doing everything with the Angels. I know that Rendon's doesn't want to play and Trout's got a sore finger and the guy pitching tonight's got a 6 ERA and his arm's hanging. You know that this guy's having trouble at home with his family. You know so many things when you're involved directly with an organization that we never know. And if I'm going to chase, this is all pure speculation. If I'm going to chase and I'm trying to recoup my losses, I'm not going to bet Duke women's basketball to cover 42 and a half. I'm going to bet on what I know the most about. So is there any evidence yet that says there was betting on baseball? They'll find out.
Yeah, not as of yet. But
not as of yet.
I mean, this is already moved a lot from even when it broke less than an hour ago. But yeah, we're still in the development phase, obviously. It's just, what I find most interesting about it in this moment is this is one of those things that a sports star who's never had one negative thing said about him, never had any story that had any sort of just suspicion, negativity, anything. And then they have that one where you're like, oh. And sometimes it's like really bad. You know, like Kirby Puckett post-playing career had some things where we were like, because Kirby was like beloved. The media loved him. The fans loved everybody. And then he did some things after his playing career where you're like, oh, that's a game changer. You know what I mean? I think Kobe Bryant went through this for a while with the whole Eagle Colorado thing. Where you're like, gosh, this is like, we got a perfect record. And then now you don't have a perfect record anymore. And it's hard to pull off. Steph Curry comes to mind as someone who to this point in his career has totally done it.
Don't jinx it.
I won't. But Shohei Ohtani, we've never talked about this with Shohei Ohtani, anything like this.
I wouldn't hate if it really distracted the Dodgers for a while.
That's what I'm saying.
And not that I want to see anyone get suspended, because I think it'd be bad for baseball. But I'd love to hear from Giants fans listening right now, or even Dodger fans listening right now. Like, where are you on this? Are you cool? Are you hoping that he gets suspended, or are you just like, no, we want to beat the Dodgers at full strength? Do you think this is bad for baseball, or would you just like him to get suspended against the Giants?
Anything that leads to, and again, I'm not trying to have anybody get arrested and have bad things happen in their life. Like, to me, real life, that's different than sports. Anything that takes the Dodgers down in the standings, I'm a fan of it. Anything.
So if he's suspended for the year,
cool.
You're good with it.
Let's win the West.
I'm thinking on the fly. I don't know where I'm at yet.
The whole good for baseball thing stops for me now. I don't want highlights of Shohei Ohtani hitting home runs because he's in a Dodger uniform. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Has your opinion changed at all of them since the show started?
No.
Yeah. Same.
Not yet.
Same.
Not yet.
And if he is picking up his boy who did have a debt, and even though it looks shady that it came out of his account, and that's the true story,
I don't hate him for that.
But then now they're throwing this dude under the bus, the interpreter, that he stole $4.5 million. And if he stole it, well, that doesn't implicate. Easy for me to say, Shohei.
Right.
Now he's good.
No, but it feels more like a fall guy situation.
And he's the victim.
Yeah.
He got robbed.
Yeah.
Shohei got robbed.
That I don't buy.
He deferred $68 million this year, and his interpreter stole 4.5. What a great guy. That's what I'm telling you. This is where this is going, dude.
I'm not going there. I refuse that.
But this is devil's advocate, just playing both sides out. If I'm a player and I'm gambling, and you're my right-hand man, you're my wingman, we are talking about what we're betting, and you're doing the actual betting for me.
Right.
You're going to do it for me. Even if you're my best friend, they can. It's easy to connect the dots, but it wasn't me.
We've been given already on the internet 2 stories.
Yes.
And let me just say, I believe the first one.
You believe that he tried to pick up his boy?
Yes.
Who had a massive gambling debt.
And by the way, if you're going to go the other way and go, oh, it was stolen from him, I would no sooner believe that than the idea that actually the interpreter was just placing bets for Shohei.
If I got $700 million, 4.5, I'm not betting 4.5.
I'm not betting 2 cents. Why?
But if I am betting, my loss isn't going to be 4.5. If I got $700 million in Shohei Ohtani's defense, I'm not paying off a little $4.5 million the
But you don't have the $700 million.
If it was like $45 million, that's more like what you would lose if you were an addict and you were a degenerate and you had $700 million. You're not paying off that's like you and I paying off a
$5 bet.
A $5 bet.
Yeah. But again, the $700 doesn't come till later.
But he's made all the money he's made in endorsements and in Japan.
Did you see, and this is, people don't know, I think we'd all assume what the endorsement dollars overseas are like for Shohei Ohtani.
Crazy.
Did you see the endorsement rankings? They just came out like earlier this week.
Yeah.
The amount of money just off the field in Major League Baseball.
For
individual players. Shohei Ohtani, and I don't have the exact number in front of me, but Shohei Ohtani was around $50 million annually just in endorsements. Second place.
65
$65
million.
Did you see what second place was? Bryce Harper.
What is it?
7. Aaron Judge is third, 6. That's a difference in what we're talking about in terms of global stardom.
So if Shohei's Pete Rose, he doesn't have a $4.5 million debt. And if he does, that's based on like one night.
Totally.
And he's not paying it off. So the more I think about this on the fly, the more we investigate here at 95.7 the game.
We're good at it too.
I don't, he's not gambling.
No, I wouldn't think so.
He's not gambling.
I wouldn't think so. Let's go to Vince in the city. Oh, hang on a sec, Vince. I want to read this first. You're listening to 95.7 the game. KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Twitch and YouTube powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Upgrade your savings dividend. Open a First NorCal First Class Money Market today. Okay, Vince, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to ask, what kind of precedent is this going to set for baseball moving forward? But because baseball has become such an international sport, and there's a lot of international players who don't necessarily speak English and have interpreters. I mean, I can see this being an issue across the league where you want to have this avoided in the future. I mean, Shohei is an ultra megastar. You guys just said global, making $50 million in endorsements annually before player contracts. Like, that's huge, and that says a lot for the game, and it says a lot for players, especially somebody the caliber of Shohei. So I just wonder, what is that going to do moving forward? Because there is interpreters, I'm sure, across the league for multiple different countries and representatives and whatnot. Like, this could be an issue or this could be a Pandora's box that, opens up. Who knows? You whatever. But I feel like this is something that's not going away. Pete Rose has already been banned from the game. He can't get into the Hall of Fame, and it is baseball. It's been a dirty game, supposedly, aside from gambling. You have the steroid thing, and it's just, how are you going to make this better moving forward for the game? Because it's not looking very good for baseball at all.
It's not, although, it's funny. Well, baseball's been a dirty game. Everything is. Good God.
Yeah.
There's no billion-dollar corporation that's not doing this, that, or the other. That doesn't exist. Oh, that politician's dirty. Yeah. All of them.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
It's just a way, like, there's too much money involved, and that's why I agree with you. Like, we can sit here and talk about this and think about what's at stake. The bottom line is there's no way Major League Baseball lets this guy go down. There's too much at stake.
No.
They won't let it happen. They'll cover it up if there is something really bad. They'll figure it out, and they're going to Tim Donaghy this guy, which is they're going to find every microphone available to say we had a rogue employee who just totally went sideways. Rogue employee. Do you buy it? I sit here today and don't believe that Tim Donaghy acted alone. I think it's crazy in the documentary, if you've watched it. Is it Scott Foster? Who's the other F in the Tim Donaghy thing? Was it? Yeah, Scott Foster. They're on the phone 48 times a night or whatever it was. And they say that in the documentary, and everybody just bebops along. Like, okay, what else is on Netflix? Because Scott Foster's reffing tonight.
Dude, the Kennedy thing right now with the Parkland doctors.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean.
Got shot from the front, not the back.
What?
Yeah.
We're getting breaking news on that now?
Yes, 60 years later.
Come on, man.
The doctors that were in the operating room at Parkland waiting for the president. And the entry rooms are from the front, not the back.
So you're saying he didn't act alone?
I don't know what I'm saying. I just watched the Netflix thing. And I think there's a conspiracy in everything. I don't think Shohei's acted alone either. I think there's other people involved, like the mafia. I think the mafia is going to come out with a statement later today.
I definitely think Dave Roberts is involved.
I think Dave Roberts did it.
There's no question. And
Mookie.
For
and
sure,
Freddie.
Mookie.
These guys are all in on it.
Mookie was the bag boy. There's no question about that. He's fast. Rolando in the city. Hi, Rolando. What are you doing?
I'm on the Bay Bridge, and I'm stuck in traffic, but listening to you guys, it makes all this go away. So you guys do awesome.
Thanks, Rolando. Appreciate it, man. Hope we get you there.
All right, I will. So you guys, I'm a big conspiracy guy like you and FP, so I have my a couple things. So to say that his interpreter did not bet on baseball, and okay, so here's my conspiracy. So let's put the round table. So he said that apparently he lost a lot of money, and he lost a lot of losses. Okay, didn't the Angels lose a lot of games last year with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout? Who's to say that he didn't bet on that? See what I'm saying? So how can you say that if he's a fall guy, and what if it does come out that he did bet on baseball? Baseball can't allow him to be in the league. There's no way. Not a chance in hell. He's screwed up the creek.
Are you the interpreter?
Are you talking about Ohtani or his interpreter?
I'm talking both of them. I'm thinking the interpreter put money on. He bet on baseball while Ohtani was on the Angels, because you're saying that he got a lot of losses. So there you go.
Maybe
the Angels lost a lot of games.
Yeah, but Rolando, you're putting a lot of dots together that have not been connected yet. Thank you. I have no way of saying that you're wrong, but even if he was betting on the Angels, who says that he's betting on them to win? Shohei left because he knew that they couldn't win. So I don't know, but again,
who couldn't win? His interpreter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
bad again, gambler. Bad.
I don't want to get way ahead of ourselves. At this point, there is no official evidence that there has been any bet placed on baseball. Didn't you list? You listed the actual sports. Was that you, Lucas, or was that you, FP? You listed the actual sports that are in the accusation, and it was 4 sports, none of them baseball.
Yeah.
So, if you're just joining us, big Shohei Ohtani breaking news in that he and his lawyers are accusing his interpreter of massive theft, $4.5 million, wire transfer directly from Shohei's account to cover gambling debts with illegal gamblers. Now, the story started out from the interpreter, who has now been fired by the Dodgers. The story started with the interpreter that Shohei was covering my gambling debts. One day later, it's, no, he stole the money from Shohei Ohtani. So that's where we sit right now today, but this feels like it's nowhere near over.
So the timeline, Ohtani rep goes on record with ESPN stating Ohtani transferred $4.5 million himself to the bookmaker on behalf of his interpreter. Then a spokesperson for Ohtani delivers the interpreter to ESPN for a statement who says Ohtani never bet and felt bad for him and paid off his debt, so he'd never do it again. Then the spokesperson for Ohtani says that he's lying after he gave his 90-minute interview to ESPN, and Ohtani's lawyers are claiming massive theft.
That's why I don't buy this. How do Ohtani? So in other words, Ohtani's people delivered this interpreter to ESPN directly to tell the story that Shohei covered for him. They delivered him to ESPN. Then he talked for an hour and a half, and the next day they're like, just kidding, he stole the money from us. It's like you already delivered him to ESPN. If it was stolen from you, I'm going to guess you didn't know it was happening, or else you would have put a stop to it. I'm sorry, that just doesn't add up. You went in the wrong direction.
And then the interpreter says Ohtani had zero knowledge of his debt or his gambling habit in general. These guys are locked at the hip.
A day after he said that Shohei paid it for me.
This could be as simple as if it came from Shohei's account, he's in trouble.
Could be.
And now they're saying, hey, just say that you stole it, dude.
Baseball's protecting Shohei Ohtani.
Go to jail for a couple of years.
They fire the guy.
I'm deferring $68 a year.
Yeah.
I will defer $60 into your account when you get out of jail. You're set for life. And you got to get a haircut.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. Like a Kyler Murray contract stipulation. Ben in Fairfield. Hey, Ben, what are you doing?
Just driving home from work, guys, hearing your conversation. I'm ready to find any excuse to turn Shohei into a villain, and this feels like the perfect opportunity.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Already hate seeing him in blue, and it feels like he put on the Darth Vader mask when he put on the Dodger uniform, and he's a villain in my book already.
I mean,
I don't want to run from that part. And I know maybe you have a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Thank you, Ben.
Do Giants fans love this? Or are they so baseball purists that they know that this could be bad for the game and they want to beat the Dodgers at full strength? That like this is a bad day.
I reject that part of what you keep asking. I do not care if the Dodgers are at full strength.
I do. I want to beat them.
Great.
I mean, I don't have a say.
I hope they beat them.
I have nothing to do with it.
I hope they beat them, but I'm not one of these people that looks at the Warriors' 4 championships and does the whole, well, Kyrie was out, and then the next year Kawhi was out, and then the next year, like, no, they're championships.
Yeah.
Cool.
Except for the one the Dodgers won during the COVID year.
That didn't count.
That doesn't count.
That's a third of a championship.
Dude, you got to play 6 months, 162 games. You know how hard it is physically and mentally?
Do you know
how spent you are in the playoffs? And then to get up off the mat, to find the adrenaline to win a World Series, that's hard.
Brother.
60 games in front of styrofoam cutout fans with no pressure at all. When I was talking to players who thought it was a joke and that just didn't want to get hurt, that was their whole goal. They were doing it for baseball. They didn't want to get hurt. I know big league managers have told their players, this is a joke, don't get hurt. Your number one thing, we're playing 60 games with piped in music to kind of give people an uplift during the pandemic, but this doesn't count, don't get hurt. That was the message from the manager to the players, and that's the year the Dodgers won the World Series. When the Dodgers will tell you, well, we had to spit in a cup every day and wear masks on the bench, and it was really hard. But there's so many people that had great 2020s because there was not the pressure of the fans on top of you every night on the road in hostile environments. It was cardboard cutouts. That was not baseball. That year was a joke. Nothing about that year should ever count ever in the history of baseball. That was an absolute farce. But that's the year the Dodgers won. And they're gonna hang on to that? I heard you guys talking about it yesterday. I was with you all the way. Like that's a spring training World Series.
That's why I'm zipping my lip, because this is a big moment for me. It really is. Because every time I say that, there's a high and mighty media person. If it were the Giants, you'd be parading around. I am so glad to have a former player put some flippin' truth on that story.
I'm telling you what players were saying. Not who cares what my opinion is. I'm telling you what players were saying. They're like, this is a joke. We don't want to get hurt.
Pandemic championships are just that. They're pandemic championships. They are not like the other ones. They just aren't.
They're not.
Period. And baseball's the most, because they played the fewest games and had easily the most sterile environment. Like the NFL one, that one I can wrap my head around a little bit, and it was a little further. It was a full year by the time the Super Bowl came around. But, yeah, no, that doesn't count.